Hi, good morning. This is part 2 of my 2D design tutorial. In the intro I showed you how to use the basic tools and what they were all for. So we're going to click on the bed to activate these. I've already set up my page, so if you want to know how to set up the page, use the dots to set the parameters of the grid. Go back to the intro and have a look at that one. That will tell you how to do all that. So what's the point? Well, it's all very well and good knowing what tools do, but putting it into a practical example. So a project that we made was a low melt pewter casting, and for that we made an MDF mould. So what I thought I'd do today is go through the process of making a low melt pewter casting mould. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my oblong tool, and I'm going to set my grid lock on, and I'm going to create a box in red because I know I want it cut, and I'm going to set it to 90. If you look at the scroll bar at the very bottom, the middle one will show you the size that you're making. At the moment it's 90 by 130, but that's way too big, so I will have that. You can see it keeps jumping about. I want that at 90 by 110. That'll do. Let's pop that back in. There we go. 90 by 110. Click. And now you've got a set box. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop over to the right and enlarge that page a bit, because that helps me with the next little bit that I want to do. And what I'm going to do is click on step lock, and I'm going to go to the circles tool, and I'm going to go 2 dots in and 2 dots down, and I'm going to draw a 2mm hole. Excuse me. That's all you need, isn't it? A morning of interruptions. Right, so now there's 2 options. Once you've drawn your circle, you can either physically draw the others, or you can select it, copy it, press on the double button, there we go, marvellous. Now, as you can see, when you move a copied item, you've got a cross which shows you the middle. So if you line that cross up with the dots, hopefully it'll be in the middle. So you can take the option of drawing it, or you can just use the cross to line it up. It's up to you, but I find it much easier to get it right if you enlarge the page, and then you get it more accurate. Oh, that one's a little bit off, isn't it? Move that out of the way. And then, as you can see, when you're moving it, you don't get the whole yellow dots thing going on, so it's a lot easier to line it up. Oh, come on. That should be right, he says. There we go, marvellous. Right, now we can minimise that just a little bit, make it a bit smaller. Perfect. And get over to the left. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a construction line. Actually, let's do this. No, I won't do it in blue. I want to do it in something I can see. Orange, that'll do. I should be able to see orange, okay. Right, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. There's my middle. And we'll do a line straight down the middle. Right, I could have put grid lock on for that, couldn't I? That would make life a bit easier. And I'm going to do a line across there, which I want on grid lock as well. Now, why am I doing that, you ask yourselves? Well, I want a centre for the main medal, and I'm going to make the main medal about 50mm in diameter. So again, if you look at the bottom scroll bar, you'll see that that size is increasing to 25. Obviously that's the radius. Now I should have changed my colour, so I'm going to change that to black, because what we don't want to do is cut this out. We just want to etch it eventually. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a big circle, and I'll have to select that and change the colour. Oh, that teach me for being lazy, won't it? Select that one to black as well. Right, now I go back. Now I'm going to have to go to step lock now, and I'll change the colour so that I don't have to keep faffing with that. And I want to do another circle. There, because that's going to be the middle. And now I'm going to go to delete any, and we scroll across to the one that's got the slash through it, so that we can just delete some little bits. And now we've got our medal. Now I can get rid of that centre line because we don't need that anymore. We've done the critical bit. Oh, almost telefib. There we go, marvellous. Go there, and we'll do another one there. And now we can delete the rest of it, get that out of the way because it's no longer needed. Right, so now what we've got is the area where the medal is going to be etched. Now if we go to our text box, go to settings, and I'm going to etch a word into there. So I'm going to set that to 5, and I'm going to select Arial rounded because if it's bold it tends to make a better thing. The word I'm going to choose, or words, is babbling brook. Now as you can see I've come in one so that helps to centre it a little bit. And the reason I've chosen Babbling Brook, as you will find out in a minute, is when we fill it you need to select certain things, and that's a classic case because there's loads of what they call islands in there. So there's, at this stage you have to decide how you want your lettering and the medal to look. So if you want your writing to be raised and the edge of the medal proud, and this bit, the background if you like, etched in, you have to do it one way. If you want the writing sunk and that sunk and this bit to be raised, you have to do the reverse. So what we are going to do now is we are going to use the fill tool, and we're going to select color fill because we're going to etch this. So okay, now here we go. So you select the outer ring, any islands, yes. Select the next ring, any islands, yes, because there's one more, and there it is there. And now we select no, and that fills that in. Now when we send this to the machine and it etches, it'll etch everything in black. Okay, so what that will do is that will mean when the medal comes out, the medal will be the thickness of the core material plus however deep you etch that and the writing. So the writing and the black ring will stand proud, if that makes sense. So now we've done that, we've set our basic one up. What we're going to do is select and copy the whole thing, because we're going to need a front and a back, and we're going to move that there, and then we're going to copy it one more time and move it there, because don't forget we still need a core. There we go, marvellous. Now we want that on the front and the back of the medal, but what do we need here? We don't need this at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete that, because we don't want to waste the machine's time doing that. Oops. We select that because we don't need that. We can select the fill because we don't need that. Oops. Now, why has it deleted the whole thing and not left the line? That's interesting. Right. I don't know why it's not left the line in place. When I press on that, it should just delete that. It should leave the outside line. Like that. Why has the line disappeared? Not quite sure. It just goes to show it can defeat the best of us. So, what we can do, this is called the contour tool. So what we can do with that is we can put a contour spacing of 0.1. Okay, and we can add that to there. Now, hopefully, if I delete that, oh, it's still done it. That's weird. It's not deleting that one, and it's deleting the bottom one. Let's try that again. Oh, where is it? There's my contour. 0.1. Let's try deleting it another way. Okay. That's really irritating. When I did it earlier and tried it, it didn't do that. So that's very annoying. But these are the things that you have to play with when you're getting used to it. So what I'm probably going to do is, because this is a bit of a faff and it's going to take ages, is I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to redraw my circle. And I'm going to change my line colour, because we need to do that anyway. And I know that my centre is there. And that should go to about there, and that is 25. Right, so I select that, and we change that line colour to red, because eventually we want all that cut out. So you might be wondering, get rid of that, jolly good. Right, why am I cutting that one out? Well, what we're going to do, the reason we haven't put red there is because when it cuts that one out, we're going to glue that dot onto there. So when the three of them go together, that will then provide a core, instead of you having to drill that hole out at a later date. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go onto the triangle tool, and we're going to set the grid lock back on, and we know our center line is approximately there, so let's go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and then drag it back 3 to the right, and click, and we stretch a triangle up into the center. That should do. Then we go to our delete tool, get rid of the bits we don't need, which are that, and that. And now we've got a funnel. Now that needs to be left in, because obviously otherwise this bit will be attached, and we want all of that cut away. It just makes life a bit easier. So the only other thing we're going to do is we've joined 3 squares together, and if you don't want your laser cutting multiple lines, if you just click on that once, that gets rid of it. But just to prove it, if I click that, it disappears altogether. So we go back to undo last, there we go, and that puts one line back in. But what it means is it won't go over it twice. and we click that once and get rid of that. So basically now you've got two outer faces and a core, and when you bolt that lot together, obviously the right way, your pewter will come in via the funnel, fill up that area, and with that etched out and the writing etched out, which is what you're going to set it to do, you're going to set the black to engrave and red to cut, and you end up with a nice little mould for a medal. So there you go. That is a basic little project done and dusted. I hope you found that helpful. We'll look at some other things which use slightly more interesting tools maybe in the next video. But don't forget, subscribe, like the video if you found it useful, share it with people you know, and if there's anything that you would like me to do that you don't know how to do, whether it's to do with 2D design or hands-on tools or machines or whatever, sharpening tools, turning. I'm a qualified engineer as well as a experienced woodworker, so just let me know what you'd like to see. Thank you very much.